Hey everyone. I know I look very similar to how I looked yesterday, but I have to film all these intros in like one go. Yeah, so today's video is going to be a documentation of my 4-day diet. I did a low carb, low sugar, dairy-free diet the past 4 days. I wasn't really feeling good about my body, not necessarily the way that I looked, but the way that it felt. I was getting a lot of stomach aches, I was getting a lot of headaches, I was feeling very faint, and I was feeling, I don't know, just very sick and just not myself. So I kind of decided to do this diet on a whim. And so because I was going on vacation this week, I figured it would be really fitting to have a situation where I just eat something really healthy for the next couple of days, and maybe I will feel up for it on vacation to feel a little bit better. So I wanted to try something that I had never done before, which is a diet. I've never been on a diet before. I was like scared to do it at first, but I just wanted to try it out to see if I could really do it. I wanted to focus on fatty proteins and really like leafy greens for my vegetables, not having a lot of sugar, not eating too much fruit, and also to not eat a lot of carbs, because I have discovered throughout this that I am a very carb obsessed person. You'll see in the video, like I say, how in the morning I would have cereal, and then in the afternoon I would have a sandwich with bread, and then for dinner I would have pasta. Like just all throughout the day I would have carbs, and I discovered throughout this process that I was heavily addicted to them, and therefore I was moody, I had a loss of energy, and it was a big problem. I don't know if necessarily that was the best option for me, so I'm telling you guys all of this before I even get into the vlog of my dieting, because I just wanted to make a disclaimer. Not that I didn't do anything right, but that I just didn't do this wisely. I didn't track my calories, I didn't track my intake of food, like what I was eating, what was a vegetable, what was a carb, what was a sugar. I wasn't really tracking any of those things, mostly because I thought it was, you know, it was just too time consuming and I just didn't want to commit to that. So I didn't do a lot of tracking for that. I didn't track my macros or anything like that. I just was bad about this, but I had all these meals in mind and I just kind of wanted to stick to the diet that I had going for me, wanted to stick to the recipes that I had, but at the same time is that even though fat does help to suppress your hunger, you do still need a little bit of carbs. And what I was doing was that I wasn't having any carbs. I kind of translated low carb to little to no carbs at all. So I started to feel not sick, but I had like kind of like a keto flu, because this diet is very like similar to keto, but also like a paleo thing. I didn't follow like a strict diet regimen. I just kind of picked and chose from a bunch of different diets that I had seen and kind of went off of that. So it was problematic because therefore I wasn't eating any carbs and I was getting sick, but I didn't have any of the backup plans to help alleviate that. Like people who are on keto, who get that keto flu because of a lack of carbs, they'll have bone broth, they'll have like stock, they'll have all these different things to help curb that and help them throughout the process in the beginning of it. I didn't have any of those things, so I really did a disservice to myself. Now I will say though that I feel amazing at this point. I have no stomach problems, I have no like acne problems or anything like that. Nothing else has really changed. I don't have any headaches, that's another thing. I usually have back problems, but I feel satiated, I feel like nourished. I did a multivitamin every night. I tried to supplement as much as I could, but at the end of the day I was hungry after every meal, at least 2 hours after. Like I did not eat enough for my body type. I don't think that I ate wisely, so therefore I didn't do everything that I was supposed to. So I just want to apologize in advance for that, because I wanted to do this video, but I did not think that I was making that many mistakes that I could potentially harm people. So I just want to like give that service to everybody. Like please do not go on this diet word for word, because as you'll see, like I am always hungry and I feel faint at a couple of points. Even though I still feel pretty good in my body, being hungry does not equate to feeling good. Like that's when you start to crash, and that's when you start to flub on your diet. And I can only imagine if I didn't have the willpower that I did, that I would would have binge eat like a bunch of carbs and really like put myself out of whack. Like even today, even though it is the end of my diet, after realizing all of these things, I've had a little bit of carbs. I'm not trying to eat too many so I don't shock my body and really bother it. I'm just trying to take it slow. I can only imagine like people who have probably tried these diets that are low carb and they've probably failed because of crazy hunger that you get when you don't have enough carbs in your diet. So I think that that is where I messed up, but at the end of the day I realized that it was about health. It wasn't about like committing or sticking to a challenge. So today I'm taking it a little bit more seriously and having a couple of carbs to make sure that I'm not dying tonight pretty much. So yeah, that is my disclaimer. Don't follow this diet to a T. I just wanted to show you guys what happened when I went on this diet. No significant changes happened because it was only for 4 days. No significant weight loss. All of this is really just like focused on my gut and also like other health issues. So I know that this was a very long intro, but I don't want to feel guilty about making people think that they should try this. I just want to emphasize so much that I don't want anyone to try this. I want everybody to take this with a grain of salt and just use this as an entertainment video because I did mess up so much. I don't want anyone at home to try this. I want everybody to be safe, to contact a nutritionist, track all the stuff that you eat, track your calories if you're going to really do a serious diet. And yeah, without further ado, let's get on into this video. So it is officially day 1 of my little mini diet. I did have a diet-friendly dinner last night, but after that I was kind of just like, I guess okay. I didn't have much of a issue with that and my body was pretty hungry still afterwards, but I think that today it'll start to get used to the process. It could take a long time for that, but I think that if I at least maintain fullness, I'll be okay. Just boiled like a shit ton of eggs. They're all soft boiled, I hope. Some may be hard boiled depending on the cook. That's going to be some of my breakfast, and also it's going to go into my lunch. This is the rest of breakfast. This is Kevin's portion and this is mine. They're roughly the same. We have our fats, which is our nuts, and then I have like a little bit of spinach. I probably could have done more, but I'm already running low and it's not even the first day. And then I left the skin on the cucumbers, the pepinos, then just some baby carrots. I don't really know how good carrots are for you on these types of diets. I didn't look into the nutritional fact. I want to at least have like a colorful plate. So yeah, my protein will be from my eggs. I have probably 2 depending on how hungry I am. And then we're just going to put the rest into my lunch, which is going to be a salad. So here I've prepped some spinach and some kale. That's going to be the base for the salad. And then this, not so sure about. I wanted to do like fresh protein, but instead I got some deli meat just because it will be a little bit easier. But also we have some tomatoes and I'm going to saute a little bit of mushroom as well, just to have like a good balance. I know that tomatoes and mushrooms are known as nightshades, which means they cause inflammation. That's not really a concern of mine. If I have a balanced diet, my back doesn't hurt as much, so I think this should be fine for me. See how I feel today, but I'm gonna put these in the salad as well. And then I'm just gonna do a regular oil and vinegar salad dressing so that I have my fats. I wanted to put avocado in it because that's another fat, and it's also like really good at activating some of the vitamins that are in the other foods that you eat with the fats. So I don't have a lot of fat going on, but I hope that like the eggs and the cholesterol will balance out, and this has a lot of fat too. Then we have like a little mixed fruit cup. Looks like watermelon, grape, and some regular melons. So I'm probably gonna have that as well. And then some seltzer water. And I think that that would be my breakfast and lunch. For coffee, I'm a little nervous today because I am also cutting out dairy. So I got a oat milk because I heard that that was very comparable to the taste of half and half. So I really want to try it. I've wanted to try it for a while, but I'm also not putting any sugar in my coffee, and there's also sugar in the oat milk. It's unsweetened, but it still has like some sugar in the nutritional facts. So, and I was looking at a lot of diet sites that talk about like low sugar or no sugar diets, and they say that a lot of coffee lovers will put in like a little bit of cinnamon or nutmeg or vanilla flavoring in their coffee, like a little teaspoon of it, so that they have like a little bit of more zhuzh to their coffee. So I'm gonna try that. I'm probably gonna put in some cinnamon and nutmeg and see how it tastes. Obviously it's not gonna be sugar, but it will probably make it a little bit easier to drink. I do like sugar in my coffee. I feel like it just rounds out the flavor a little bit, and I think that that is the update. I'll let you know how everything tastes. My biggest fear about this is not having enough fat and not feeling full, because that's when temptation strikes, and that's why a lot of people fail at their diets. But if you have a lot of fat in your diet, that's not supposed to happen. But my fear is that I'm not doing accurate portion sizes, so that is going to be something that I have to work on. I'm so used to having like no food when I eat, because so used to like getting so full on carbs so quickly that I can't have a lot of food, and that's why my plates are always so small. But you know, if you're not having a lot of carbs, then your stomach is still going to be empty, so you need those fats to balance it out. Since we are going on vacation, it's not like we bought a ton of stuff. That's just my biggest fear at this point, so I will keep you guys updated. Okay, so today is day 2. It's the morning. I haven't eaten breakfast yet, but I just want to give like a rundown of everything that happened last night. I didn't cheat, nothing bad happened, but what I've been noticing is that I am just like in a permanent state of hunger. I will expose myself here. I am not a sweet tooth person. I don't crave sweets. Candy, cookies, chocolate, sugary cereals, ice cream very rarely. I don't really crave sweet things. I have more of like a salty tooth, I guess you could say. Chips and things like that, those things are what I crave most, because it's just how my whole life was. You know, my mom was Italian. My brother didn't really eat a lot of vegetables and things like that. Not that I didn't, I love vegetables, but you know, what I'm saying is that my mom wasn't going to make 3 separate meals for everybody, so the only thing that my brother would eat would be carbs. So I've just grown up on carbs like my whole life, and so that's what I know. That's how I know how to eat. It's like you have to have a side of like potatoes or pasta or rice or something comparable to that, or else the meal isn't complete. So that's just how I was trained. I'm not like making any excuses for it, but it's just so weird how like I don't feel full at all after any meal. I don't know how to balance it out, and the thing is that I'm trying to have more fats, but that seems to be a little bit challenging as well, because my avocados aren't ripe. I'm eating nuts, but I don't know if I'm eating enough. I can't eat a lot of them. Like they're just like, they're not tasty to me, so I don't eat a lot of them. You know, I don't want to like rely on my diet to be so meat heavy, because I don't necessarily know if that's good either. And so what's happening is that after every meal I am pretty hungry. Like last night for dinner, I didn't take a picture of it because I was just so starving, but I made a shrimp salad with like cucumber, onion, and a little bit of jalapeno, and then I just did lime juice, lemon juice, salt, and garlic powder as seasoning, and it was delicious, and I like scarfed it down. And even after I finished it, I was still hungry because I went to the beach yesterday. I was really tired, so I didn't really feel like cooking anything. So yeah, I think that my body suffered for it. I've just like been craving chips so bad, you know, particularly my Takis that I still have in the house, and I've been really good about not cheating, not even having at least one bite. And the thing is that Kevin, my boyfriend, he has done this type of a diet before, and he knows that what's best for you is to not just cut out carbs completely, but I'm trying to kind of kick habits, if I guess you could say. He's not as addicted to carbs as I am, so I'm really trying to like soften the addiction, because all those carbs, when they're broken down in your body, they turn to sugar. And so I technically have a sugar addiction. What Kevin did is that he had like a sandwich, and it looked like the most delicious thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's like killing me, because that would be what I would gravitate towards, because like it's also a thing where like every day my entire life of my childhood I had a sandwich for lunch. It looks like I'm crying. I hope you guys don't think I'm crying. I'm just tired of being hungry. This has made me like analyze just how much I am addicted to bread and carbs in general. Like it's just really uncomfortable for me. I'm going to try to reevaluate everything. I do still have eggs. I think that I'm just going to fry them today instead of boil them, so that I have a little bit extra fat from the oil, and butter too maybe I'll add. Like the salad, like you guys guys saw was spinach and kale, and me and Kevin downed the whole thing in 2 seconds. We didn't put mushrooms in it. I didn't have time to fry them up. We had to leave the house, but I did have the tomatoes in there, and we did have the boiled eggs that were left over, and I'm just trying to have a very colorful diet. Like, I'm just thinking about what my plate is going to look like this morning, and it's just going to be eggs, pink meat, and brown nuts. Like, I don't feel like that's very satisfying for the body, but at the same time, I'm just craving like really thick stuff because I just need something to be heavy in my stomach. Otherwise, I'm just going to be miserable the rest of the day. I really don't know how to remedy this besides just eating a little bit more than I'm comfortable with. I just want to be healthy. I don't want to be, you know, hurting myself. And that's the hardest thing about this, is that I'm just going into this blind, and I think that that was my mistake. So I'm welcoming of criticism, just, you know, keep it decent. So yeah, this is day 2. I'm gonna continue to try to take pictures of everything that I eat. I apologize if I haven't been keeping up with that. Tonight, I think we're going to do chicken thighs that I was going to do yesterday, so I'll do that tonight with the leftover broccoli. Yeah, as for lunch, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. Okay, guys. I got lightheaded. I needed to do it. Look at this fucking shit. My boyfriend's had this for a while, and I confirmed with him that it's okay for me to have, because all I see is masculinity here, and I'm just making sure that it's okay for a woman with the estrogen production to have this. So I caved. This is a protein powder. Obviously, it has 8 grams of carbs in here. 2 grams of that is from sugar. So obviously, my diet isn't strictly like no carb, no sugar, but this is a little bit of a setback. But I literally felt so lightheaded and still so hungry, and it's only been about 2 hours since I had breakfast. I don't think that I would have been able to do it. So I mixed 1 little scoopful, which is 1 serving of this protein powder, with a glass of oat milk. So I'm just having that now. The minute I took a sip of it, I felt like I was gonna die and go to heaven. Like, it was just, like, it really hit the spot because it's vanilla flavored, so it has a little bit of sweetness to it, and I don't know, it was just like really necessary. So I'm gonna finish that now. I'm obviously doing something wrong. Like, I acknowledge that, because I should not be feeling that weak and lightheaded after eating such like a fat-rich breakfast. I don't want anything to go bad, so I wasn't able to get that much food. So in the meantime, it's like I have to be mindful about how much I'm cooking so that, you know, I'm not running out of food, but at the same time I'm not using too much food, and but I didn't get that much food to begin with, so it's like, I don't know. So I had to do some protein powder. I am really just using it as a meal replacement because I'll be having that, and then I'll just wait until like lunch or dinner to have the rest of my calories for the day. But this was just like, this is a saver for me because I don't think I would have been able to make it. So yeah, this was necessary, but it's still not like a ton of carbs, and it's not a ton of sugar, and I'm not really trying to focus too much on that. I'm just trying to focus on my health, trying to remain hydrated, and I'm trying to eat enough, but I'm just not doing a good job of it. So I'm gonna have to reassess and talk with Kevin when he gets home and see where I could go from here, because I really don't want to start eating carbs and having sugar all of a sudden, because I feel like my body's gonna freak out. So I'm trying to like slowly incorporate some stuff back into it. I just don't want to feel sluggish, but at the same time I don't want to feel weak. So I don't know, I'm kind of over it, but yeah. So this is where we're at. Jesus Christ. Okay, y'all, it is day 4. Yesterday I didn't do any updates because you know how I am. I'm not a big everyday check-in type of person. But yesterday was a little frustrating. I did the same thing that I did the day before, which is I had a protein shake in the middle of the day because I just felt sick. I felt tired and just extremely hungry, so I had to have a protein shake. For breakfast, I didn't have any eggs, but I did have prosciutto, which had a little bit of protein and fat in it, and I had the rest of the almonds, which was a lot. I had a little bit of spinach. For dinner, I had, if I do say so myself, a really good meal. I made salmon, did the rest of the spinach with a little bit of mushroom and onion, and then just had some raw cherry tomatoes on the side for a little bit of acidity to kind of break up the flavors. It was really filling, and I enjoyed it a lot, and Kevin thought it was like one of the best things that I've made. So I feel feel a little accomplished. If anything that this diet has done, it's taught me a little bit about how to cook. Like, I'm not saying that I was a bad cook, but I'm not really the cook of the house. It's usually Kevin that does everything. But I've made every single meal that we've had so far, and I feel really accomplished by that because that's not really something that comes naturally to me. I feel like Kevin already like knows all those things by heart. My mom knows all those things by heart, but I've never been that type of person. This has been a really nice experience to at least like learn a little bit about what to make. I think that I've just made a lot of really good meals, but my problem is that I'm not eating enough carbs. Like, I'm trying to be low carb, but I think that my brain is being stupid, and instead of doing low carb, I'm doing like almost no carb. So it's been stupid of me, and in general, I just want to tell you guys that I did this very wrong. I was talking to my friend the other day too. This is pretty much similar to a keto diet, a ketogenic diet. However, I'm just like not eating as many carbs as I should, and I didn't think that I had the keto flu, but I kind of had it now that I think back to it. If you have no carbs or low carb, then you're going to feel pretty sick, especially if you're also not having any sugar. All in all, I think that this was a good experience. I feel better. I didn't want this to be about weight loss. I wanted it to be about just my overall health. I feel like I have less headaches, less backaches, less stomach problems, but I think that a lot of that contributes to just the fact that I'm eating a lot of vegetables, and also I'm not having any dairy. I don't think that like me reducing my carb intake did that much except just make me hungry. So I think that the carbs are okay as long as I don't overeat carb. And so if anything, this diet has taught me how to balance my meals a little bit more properly and how to reduce my carb intake to just what I need in a day and nothing more, nothing less. I'm happy but also annoyed by this. So don't do anything that I did unless you want to add carbs to like one meal a day for your diet. But I will say that eating all those leafy greens and all those vegetables was like super impactful for me, and I really appreciate that I did it. I don't really notice too much of a difference between like having fruit and having no fruit because it hasn't been that long, but I don't necessarily think that you should cut out fruit completely. But once again, I'm not a nutritionist, so please consult a doctor about that. So I want to continue my diet, but I think that because of what I realized from yesterday, that I want to eat a little bit of carbs. So I'm really craving cereal, so I think I'm just gonna have that with some oat milk. I don't have any coffee left at this point. It's like the last day. I don't really care that much. And then I'm gonna have Takis. I don't care. I've been craving them every single day, and I think that it's gonna be a big reward for me. Let's hope that I don't have any stomach issues. I'll keep you updated if I do. But all in all, that is the last update, I think.